All right, we are back. We are just about to begin our grand finals of the Zone Laser Tag Australasian Championships 2023, coming to you live from Hobart in Tasmania, Australia. My name is Drake from WA,
My name's Nickel. I'm from Canberra, or the ACT.
and we are going to be commentating here for you for a 3-game grand final series between the Hobart Vikings, the home team,
Yep.
the Queensland Spartans, and Queensland Catalyst, who are back in there for last year's champions.
Yes. Yep.
Catalyst.
So returning champions, which is good to see. It's always having a second Queensland team in there as well. Obviously, aftershock from South Australia, missing out just slightly in that last one.
Yeah, like we just had a moment out in the foyer there, getting to chat to the Aftershock and also the Storm. There, impressive efforts that they've put in there from these games as well, and of course, bitterly disappointed that they just missed out again after getting fourth from last year as well.
Yes, it's the repeating pattern in some cases, but a massive run regardless. Of it. So we've got a couple of questions, and we'll take questions in the chat as we lead it. We've got a little bit of time as the teams set themselves up. They're going to go through a little bit with the tournament coordinators to work out who's going to be what color first. We're going to go through a bunch of how this plays, especially if you've never seen a tournament like this before, especially if you've never seen a finals like this. And we may even have a bit of a new toy to possibly showcase on the stream, which might help us in explaining some of this.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to this. But again, please, everyone, thank you so much for joining us in the chat. Let us know. We've currently got a whole bunch of NZs saying in the chat there. It's probably not the best time to ask, but we'd love to know where you are tuning in from. We've got people that have been tuning in from all over the world from this competition there. We've had players come in, 30 teams have come into this tournament from all over Australia and New Zealand, and even a team from Finland with an American player. Sorry, Sweden. With an American
Finland
player.
A couple of years.
Yeah.
Stockholm, Sweden.
Skitchy is joining in there. Sweetbuck, are we going to see you tonight? Yes, we will definitely be there. Eric Parrott, Werribee, Victoria, rooting for Vikings, of course. Aaron Khan, ACT. Fricka ZLT, New South Wales. PX2 Train Horse from Germany.
There you go.
Zone 31, I never learned Drake. Yeah, that's very fair. Look, they're right next to each other. I was close. Same thing, right?
Did you get bases wrong as well?
Fitzy is joining. Yeah, look, classic. Just tuning in from the International Space Station. It's really great that we've got some astronauts that are joining us. So we've got some people.
How good would that be?
That'd be so great.
That'd be amazing.
Oh, that would be incredible.
What about junior players? Can you go become an astronaut and tune in a few years' time?
That'd be great.
We've got
CV Tamer, Hobart Go Vikings, Helsinki, Finland here. 1 Stockholm, 4 Gothenburg, 1 American there for Sweetbuck. Yeah, of course. And thank you so much for coming over here, Majestic 5 as well. We hope you guys have had an absolutely fantastic tournament as well. And, very impressive results as well. It's been great meeting you as well.
It's been really, really good. And Australia tends to draw a couple of international teams on a semi-regular basis. And we'd love to continue doing that. Obviously, we've got New Zealand teams here as well, but we're all just one big family down here. Australasian, as the title suggests. But they consistently put teams in. And we might, maybe, heading that way in the years to come.
Yeah. It'd be great to see. Like, I'd love to be able to make it over to a European tournament.
So would I.
There is Worlds coming up next year that is going to be in New Zealand as well. I'm hoping to make it over for that as well.
That would be very, very exciting. Have you done a Worlds before?
No, I haven't.
I was lucky enough to make it to the Australian Worlds in 2014.
Sunshine Coast?
Yeah.
Queensland?
Birthed there because of a win in 2013.
Ah, yes.
But it was good fun. It was good fun. It was good seeing all the different teams from all over the world because the scenes are very different everywhere. So
Ibo and Volley are watching it from their blanket fort that they've built at home together, snuggled on the couch, and it's great to see as well. But it's also great to see a whole bunch of players joining us in the
Yep.
chat as well that are unable to make it here to Tasmania. There's been a lot of changes to the whole ZLTAC community over the last couple of years. Myself missing out like for the last couple of years, and yourself as well. Like both the two of us coming back after a little while off and seeing everyone again has just been absolutely fantastic.
There's a certain it's a bit of a bug you get when you
Yeah.
not the sickness type, though that occasionally happens as well. But you come here and you see the whole scene. You see all the different people. In some cases, come back and you haven't seen people in years.
Yeah.
And the sense of community just it's
great.
like a
It's
giant
absolutely
warm
great.
hug.
Yeah. Ash, who's joining us in the chat here, was playing for one of the WA teams from Victoria.
Yep.
Was saying the worst part about the worst part about ZLTAC, and the biggest tip for the new players is that like not being able to see everyone for another year or 4.
Yeah. It is really hard at the end of because we're here for 2 weeks and we've talked about it on and off over the stream, not just us but other commentators, that we're kind of all in close confines for 2 weeks. It's a long tournament.
Yep.
And then we disappear. We all go our separate ways. In some cases for a whole year, and in some cases for many years.
Yeah. But like on that is, even though it has been several years since we've seen people as well, like you just reconnect like that as well.
Yeah.
Like
there's something shared about it, and I spent about 4 years away between the end of 2016 and the start and the 2021 national titles. 2022 national titles.
2022.
2021 didn't happen.
Brisbane Rumble.
And honestly, apart from the massive new faces, the old faces, it was like I'd never left.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's something very, very special.
Yep. Ash saying there, you live, breathe, and compete with these people with their family for 2 weeks.
They are.
And that sense of camaraderie that we get there from everyone as well is just absolutely incredible. Like we've got a nice little foyer camera there. As you can see, we are clearing out the foyer and getting everything prepared for things. But you're seeing people there, even though they've just had some of the most intense games of laser tag against each other, they're celebrating, they're congratulating, they're laughing together and having just an absolute great time there.
One of the things we are starting to see, though, which for all the sadness of disappearing for a year, is we're starting to see more and more other tournaments. So pre-nats has become such a
an important
staple.
thing.
For those who might not have known, the new host site obviously will run a series of competitions in the lead up that allows people to practice at the site and things like that, and they become another gathering point. We've seen other competitions like the Brisbane Rumble. We've seen a couple little ones around New South Wales this year. We're seeing more and more of that, and that's super exciting to see as well.
Yeah. Rep, great to see you in the chat there. Did I just see Arbel behind the counter? Hi, friend, I miss you. Yeah, exactly. Rep being one of our players, again, haven't seen for many years there. And yes, in fact, that is Master Arbel, who I believe is going to be the master referee on duty.
I believe so. I believe he's very experienced master referee. And we talked about this earlier, but almost all of the positions and held around the tournament that aren't player-based are all volunteer positions.
All volunteer positions.
They're all players in most cases. And a huge shout out to them, because this tournament doesn't run without those volunteers. All the refs we see in these games coming up, all volunteers. Most have been here for quite some time. These games are quite intense. We wouldn't wish a brand new referee to referee any of these games. But it's all volunteer.
But having said that, like throughout the tournament as a whole, we do have a training process for referees as well. So we have had people that have been, getting qualified to become referees, been reffing, dozens of games, 15 or so games throughout the tournament. One new player that one new referee that I saw was reffing some of the earlier games of finals earlier today, but we do have our absolute cream of the crop, our master referees and senior referees that will be in this grand final.
Yeah.
Just time for teams briefing.
Yep. Are you able to change the title from Ascensions to grand final, please?
Oh, that's one thing I've got to do. Yes.
Yep.
We've just been informed, and you'll see our stream change in just a second, just to grand finals at the top there. But we've just been informed the players are in the kit-up room or the briefing room. They're getting their final brief before they go in to the actual tournament, into the maze itself. And from there, they don't get to see the outside world for the next 45 minutes, give or take.
Yep.
A bit longer than that, actually, closer to an hour. As they will play one game, they will then rotate colors. They'll play another game, and they'll rotate colors. And the reason why this is so important is all the bases in mazes all over Australia, all over the world, they all differ.
Yeah.
And over the course of the tournament, you'll find certain players, certain teams will prefer different bases. So there is a lot of tactics that go into actually what you choose.
Yes.
And every nationals, we see maze maps. Often we'll get given a maze map by the site because most teams don't play in the same maze. The one that we got given this year, and hopefully this is going to work for us here,
Let's
is
see.
this. And this is the maze map for this year. Obviously, we have green base over here.
Oop.
Oh, we're going to... This is green base. We've got blue base, nice color-coded, and you've got red down the bottom here.
Maybe we could just point out where the cameras are. Oh, actually, is everyone able to hear us? Just want to make sure, chat, that you're able to hear us
Absolutely.
in this. And what do you reckon of this this maze map thing that we've got here? Yeah, let's point out where we've got the main base cameras.
Okay, so the main base camera in green, the one that often gets the most action, is actually right here in the corner, right up here.
Yeah, so that's the one that's kind of pointing out this way towards that underspot there. So
Yeah.
that's the main thing there. It's just where you'll see most of the time people will be, sitting directly under there, looking up there.
The blue one is a similar position, right at the back of the base itself, and it's looking out this direction. Now you can't actually see the base from underneath it, but you'll often see players going into this little corner here and taking the base from there. Occasionally seeing them from here.
Yeah, so
Just jumping there. We've got players jumping in there at the moment as well.
Yeah, so one of the things that you can't really see too well is that spot that's like there's a player that's directly behind that little triangle thing there.
Yep.
So there's a little half height there, and there's a little, So
Little half height. You can actually tag people over it. In fact, if you come into the base, you can actually tag people between these two spots, and you'll see a lot of denials that come through from that.
Yes.
This game's about to get started. Last one, really quickly. The red one actually lives about here, down in this bottom corner.
Looking up towards that base there, as we see the first of our grand final games beginning. We've got Catalyst on green. Hobart Vikings have picked blue
Yep.
out of this, and Spartans have got red in this.
This is really interesting, and we didn't mention it obviously before, but the Vikings, having come first into this as the top team, get to choose their color first, or get to offload the choice of color.
Yeah, I'm just gonna bring up the actual color order. So in this, Hobart Vikings have picked. Well, I think it's the order of the games that they get played.
Yes.
On there. So we've got the Hobart Vikings have got red on this one. Spartans are blue and Catalyst are green. Then Vikings have got green next. Spartans red, Catalyst blue, and Vikings blue, Spartans green, Catalyst red. In this, went through that a little bit quickly.
We will go back over that, and we'll
yeah.
repeat that on the next games.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there. But they rotate colors, and so it is really important because your strategies might change depending on what you believe your opponent might do out of each individual base, because they all do play quite differently.
Now, what we often see in a grand final is they open up very conservatively.
Yeah.
You will often see the first game of a grand final coming out with 1, 2, maybe 3 bases going down.
Yeah.
Whereas we've been seeing a lot of, 6, 7, 8 base games from these 3 teams, but not so much against each other.
Yeah, we say that, and as we say that, commentators curse clearly, red player poking into blue. You'll often see this, though. I can see a blue player on the outside of green there as well. But these players may not necessarily be trying to get into the base. What they might be trying to do is just get information.
Yep. Yep.
And that allows and they might feed that information back to their team in their base. They might be the captain or the caller. A game caller is a term we often use, that the player, sometimes the captain, sometimes not, who calls the game inside.
Yeah, just reading where people are, what strategies you need to be playing, where your players need to be, and micromanaging them in there. These players are just absolutely brilliant, though. So many of them are going to be like just making unknown calls there. It's just going to be almost impossible, and they're going to be all over the arena.
They're all very, very good players, and they'll all be able to read the game relatively well in their own right. I was about to flick across to an all cams because I hadn't seen any red players for a while, but they're back in their base, which clearly means they're probably just outside, trying to push out, get some of those points, ready to fall back in to defend it if a player tries to push through them.
So Volley is saying a fairly interesting comment there. Biggest green score takes the trophy, takes first place there. We've seen that green has been the statistically best base there. They've been able to get the most pack points. Pack points, of course. So you earn 3,001 points by destroying a base. But 150 points for tags, and you lose 40 points every time you tag there. So we call pack points there. That's where you've just earned points from tagging people or from denials.
Yeah, what you're seeing on the screen, for instance, is just pack points. The reason why our bases are worth 3,001 points, if you get them clean, we'll explain that later. For those that might be new to the chat, is you can
Twinkle's on.
Two-shot denied. That's a big defensive piece by red there.
Yeah.
Green poking blue there as well, and green base less action, but they're still getting points. I say that as blue cleans out the.
Oh, here we go. Runts on.
That he checked his laser, I feel, to make sure that he hadn't been tagged.
Just to make sure there. So 3,001 points there for Runt there. Now you can see the Hobart Vikings team score. They've got ends in a 1.
Yep.
Indicating that they have got one base.
Yeah. And Runt is just playing out of his skin Run
has been playing just incredible for the entire tournament as well.
I feel like he just laughed a little bit as he walked out of that base, knowing exactly how well he played.
Looking like this little thing here, we call the worm. It's kind of like a timeline graph of the 3 teams score of there. Each of these big lines that we see here, that's 1 minute. We play a 12-minute game there.
Yep.
So we're about 4.5 minutes in.
Yeah.
Runt has 7,000 points, 33 tags for, 24 against, and a base. It's just absolutely insane number of tags there so early in the game.
He is an incredible player. This is his home base, and he's also been playing on this system for longer than almost anybody else in Australia, alongside the other players from the site. And that's not to take away from just the raw skill that the young man has.
Yes.
One thing we don't explain very often is we call that player Runt. Runt is a nickname. Almost every player has a nickname. So you might refer, and you can see them on the screen above us here. You've got Runt, you've got Leper, you've got Twinkles, you've got CV, Karen, Mad Cans, Potato.
Very, very few people are using their actual real name. We actually all have them.
We do have real names. We are real humans.
Don't use them very often.
I'm probably actually one of the closest.
Nickel.
My real name is Nick.
Mine is Ewan, and my alias is Drake. Like, it's not even close.
Yeah.
But we've all got stories.
We've all got stories for how names came about. Very rarely do you just choose your name. It usually develops over years.
And Runt is definitely an alias that was not really chosen by him, but he has been playing laser tag for an extremely long time. He was extremely small when he started playing, and now is extremely not.
He's quite a tall young man.
Now.
My nickname is turning into my real name. Look, there is something to be said that we talk about seeing everyone once a year. There are people I have known for the better part of a decade and do not know their real name.
Yep.
And it is just a byproduct of this weird and wonderful sport that we play.
Good luck ever having someone call you by your real name if your real name is something like Andrew.
Yeah, there's a lot of Andrews.
We did have Team Andrew in triples there with 3 Andrews. Again, Leper and Andrew in this there. Wasn't even one of the Andrews on Team Andrew. We've got 2 Andrews that are event court, well, like in charge of the event team on this one there. And no one calls them Andrew.
Yeah, Ash is just
Vampires.
one base only. Is that clean?
Oh,
no, 2 shot denied.
Well, that was a really long take there for his 3rd shot into that base there from Wamfox. That's real unfortunate.
Yeah. And that looked so clean as well. It looked like they had so much time.
Comfortable.
When we go back to the map, we might be able to play with this between the games. But that blue base is actually a particularly difficult base to get, relatively speaking. And it takes some finesse to get it. We'll try and illustrate why when the maps. We won't do it
Between
right
the
now.
games.
We'll
We're
do
gonna
it between the games. We'll have a bit of time.
A bit of a break.
Got red pushing green
Zeropa's
now.
on.
That looks clean. That looks well defended by his
nice.
teammate. Got green
Gloves
in
on?
green in red, and he's got it. He's got it well defended again. You've seen just on there a couple of players hitting these bases, and you need that. You need that second player. At the speed at which these players move, you need that second player. It's rare that you can just do it yourself. We will see it, but it's not the most common.
Yeah. Weeb asking in the chat, what do you think the play is for Catalyst Spartans being 1 base down? Well, between you asking that question and me getting to read it there, it's get a base. But the Vikings are just massively ahead on pack points at the moment there, and Twinkle's taking that 2nd base as well.
Yeah.
It's going to be really hard for Spartans and Catalyst to be able to catch the Hobart Vikings on pack points alone.
Yeah.
Just given that how the Vikings have been getting pack points for the entire tournament so far, they are really going to be needing to outbase.
They really do. And this is going to feel very uncomfortable, I suspect, for Catalyst in green. Green base has traditionally, through the competition, though less so at the top end, been the base that you get pack points out of. 1 shot denied.
Queen 1 shot denied there at red there on CV by Zeroba.
Yeah, really, really clean. With green being the one that would normally get more pack hits, you've got a feel for Catalyst, and they've really got to play this game well, because you might expect this to be one of their highest scoring games.
Yeah.
And they probably are going to try and read it, unless they feel that they've really, really stuffed up in the game. They're not going to see their scores in between the games, so they don't know. They've just got their read of the game. But being in arguably the, quote, stronger base, that might skew that opinion. I feel like red has really kind of either their defense has collapsed or they've chosen not to defend that. Oh, you see a red player down there.
Which we did see CV picking up a 3rd base there. Oh,
Yep.
blue's on. Green's at blue. No.
Red at blue as well. Red at blue as well. Lots of players. Lots of players at blue. There was red there. There was green there. And that one player in the pocket there, pocket being a part of the base, we'll show it again if we can on the map, which is just really, really spinning around in
Peregrine
there.
1 shot denied there on Wax. Oh, sorry, Wax getting a 1
One
shot
shot deny
deny
on
on Peregrine. Green denying a red at blue. Runt on red.
This is Runt's 2nd base now, and this is big for him.
12k already. Mad Can's on blue. Mad Can's picking up that blue base there. It's a big one there for the Spartans as well. Yeah, this is going to get whack. Yep, it is on.
This is going to be a really interesting one if this sort of peters out in the same way as it has, because I feel like this puts Spartan and Catalyst in a really awkward position. They've got to kind of come to terms with the idea of, okay, Vikings probably won. They're probably going to understand that based off the base takes, right? For those that are listening at home, you can hear who gets what base inside the maze.
Lilbo and Potato.
There's some big
simultaneous bases there. That was a big one. Potato's base on the Vikings there, I think, is even more important than Lilbo's one through that red there.
Yeah.
But actually, you know what? I've just said it, but one shot denied there, Paragon Grub. Actually, now that I've said it, I think that green base, Lilbo getting Lilbo getting red base there has actually locked out the Vikings from getting that red.
Yes, it slows them down a little bit, but
Peregrine on green?
but
Yeah, wow.
Oh.
Okay.
so
I think that might have been a one-shot time deny there, Husky over at red base.
and Peregrine definitely got denied either by the base or by an individual. But what we're gonna do, we're just gonna hold just to make sure that like there's nothing coming through the foyer. So we're just gonna make sure that our players can't hear the commentary itself.
They shouldn't, so you should be fine. But do not stress because the stream isn't being played anywhere.
Okay,
Great.
perfect.
Fantastic. So
But just don't scream.
our foyer is locked.
Yep.
So we are on that room right at the very back there. We are a long way away from where the players are. So we will be able to talk about some of the statistics from that. We're not going to be loud about it just
Yep.
in case. But look at that score there from Runt.
Unsurprisingly, Run having a very, very good game of that. It's not the scariest game he's ever produced in this maze,
No.
but it is a massive game out of blue for them.
And look at this. Look at this game summary. Runt has almost every single statistic on there. Just missing the highest chain tag there, Mad Cans with 7. And the chain tags is so the highest tag streak is tags in a row before you are tagged.
Yep.
And the chain tag is getting tags within like a small window between each of them. I
Yeah.
think it's like 4 seconds or something like that.
It's something along those lines.
Small amount of time.
I think going back to the comment we made before, what we're going to see here is going to be really interesting because I think the onus here is now on Spartans and Catalyst. They've got to assess, hopefully correctly, how they did in that game. And I think Catalyst, for instance, coming from the base that is arguably meant to be the stronger one, is going to need to start thinking about, did we actually beat the Spartans? And if so, how does that affect the way we play the next game?
So one of the counting your pack score is pretty difficult. Like it's really hard to get an exactly accurate picture of how much pack points you've got. You can get a figure about the denials there. We didn't mention earlier, but each shot you put on the base is minus 500 points.
Yeah.
So minus 1,000 points there, or Peregrine is minus 2,000 points onto his score there from that. If you do deny people, as you can see that bottom stitches there, like Runt denials 2 shots, he's getting a bonus 250 points for each one of those. So plus 500 points onto his score for that.
Yeah.
That contributing to the pack points.
It's we talked about it again there, but it's a reason why you often won't see individuals going by themselves, especially at this kind of game. You need to take players with you to help protect you. So you work in teams. Often that might only just be the 2 of you. It might be more, depending on the base and how
And the
secure you
situation and
feel
how
it
things-
might be.
Yeah, for sure. So between each of these games, these teams are going to sit down. They're going to have a chat. They're going to have a think about. They're probably sitting inside their bases there. You can barely see them. We'll give them a bit of privacy on that. But the main things they're going to know is how many bases they've destroyed, and hopefully if they've been able to count how many bases the other teams have destroyed.
So, and this is where that trying to track how well you feel the game has gone or how well you think other people have gone. Because when you look at it, there's not a lot of difference in the base count. Obviously,
4-3-2.
4-3-2. Right. So if they've got that right, that just based on that wouldn't put the scores that far apart. But how much do they believe they outplayed the others?
Yeah.
I suspect Vikings know at this point. I suspect Vikings have a good idea that they've played that well. There's a couple of denies on the team, but they know they had 2 players that didn't get any denies, were very safe players. The tag ratios on both of them were above 100%. So that is probably understood that they've played that well and probably outplayed everybody else.
Yep. There's a lot of questions in the chat or people talking about blue base. Let's go over to this blue base and we'll have a bit more of a look. around that there.
So what we're looking at Blue Base, when I shouted out Pocket before, and Pocket itself is sometimes referred to as sort of this area. Oh, I'm going to make sure I've actually got my things, sort of this sort of area here. And you'll see people bouncing around here because from here, I'll just quickly rub that out. If a player stands here, they've got a bit of cover from this door as players come in through here, and they can move to here as players come through here, allowing them to get a nice tight tag around there. The reason why a lot of people have had trouble with blue, however, is, and I'll just rub these out for us again, is that the actual base, which is here in the corner, is actually quite high up, and it's inside of a bit of a box to some degree, which means you actually have to get, when you're tagging from here, or if you're here, or even if you're here, you have to get quite low and almost tag upwards to the top.
Yep.
Because of that, though, we do find players actually missing tags on them.
Yep.
And these spots are all very, very exposed. You can, in fact, obviously be tagged through here. When you are in this corner here, you can also occasionally, if your laser is sort of here, you can actually be tagged all the way through here.
Yep. And the other thing about in that circled spot there is you've got you don't have a lot of visibility from someone in this door here.
Yep.
So a defender who can come out there, get to about there, has got a nice, easy shot on you as well.
Making that even worse than that, if we take all this, is it's not clear unless you've read the key on this. This, and we mentioned it before, is actually a half wall. So you can tag over the top of it. Though we do have a rule where you can't put a laser over the top, so you can't extend beyond it.
Or your arm or any part of your body.
But as a defender, you might be able to go here and you'd still be able to get that tag through there.
You can shoot over the top of it, just not put anything over the top of it.
Yeah. The blue came is taken from behind the pillar. Yes, I think if you're mentioning pillar, if you're mentioning this one here, I think there might actually be a tag here.
Yes,
but
I can confirm I saw Hatman on the Cobras taking it from there while I was refereeing inside that blue base.
It's a very, very risky shot because you have a lot of exposure to this door here, including a player here.
Yeah.
So. Yep.
Yeah, Iber Maroon's in the chat asking, given Hobart has been around 10th on average for the last decade or so, is the home site advantage here very strong? Or have they turned a new leaf and they are just absolutely smashing it in this game?
What's your take on this? I think every player who's played here has an opinion on this.
I genuinely think that they are playing the best laser tag that I've ever seen from this team.
Yep.
They are playing just absolutely fantastic as a team. They are by far the best pack-on-pack players with this equipment.
Yep.
As well. But their maze knowledge is absolutely second to none. Players like Runt are just playing this like they live here.
Yeah.
Just so comfortable there. But I feel like, by this stage of the competition, we typically see the maze advantage has gone away a fair bit.
Yeah.
It has not gone away.
Yeah. I think to add to that, and something that the players are moving back into their bases, so we might return to this part of the conversation again, but I'll just flick to the main cameras just as we move into that.
Maybe we
can... these ones are definitely the better way to do it. But while they get set up, I do think there is something to be said about the system change. Our
very much so.
Older players like ourselves have seen a number of system changes. And when we talk about the system change, we talk about the actual packs and the lasers or phases.
New
hardware. This game's about to get started, but the new hardware has changed the way we play. So different sensors, different configurations. And we'll have a chat about that through this game, and maybe we'll be able to see a few things because the way people play actually is very representative of some of those changes.
Yeah.
But we're off. We're seeing Hobart Vikings out of red. We're seeing Spartans out of green, and we're seeing Catalyst now on blue.
All right. What are your thoughts, chat, for this game? So we saw Hobart Vikings with a pretty commanding win out of blue, which is seemingly their best base that they started with in the first
Yeah.
one. Who do you think is going to get the tips? Who's going to get up in this one? How many bases do you think each of the teams are going to get there? If you want to go a little bit high, like higher with your predictions on this one there, see if you can tip that out there.
I'm going to put it out there.
Hmm?
Chat can agree or disagree. Twinkles goes blender mode under red from memory.
Yep.
I
The Tango.
I was about to
Oh.
say Vikings isn't going to take this one,
Yeah.
and I am proven
Runt.
potentially wrong by Runt just walking in and taking green base.
Volley saying 9 total bases this game. Kichi 10 bases.
10 bases total.
Yeah. So we had what 9 bases last game.
4-3-2. Yeah.
Yep. I think there's going to be a bit more than that. I'm going to go around the 15 mark.
Yeah.
Maybe 16 bases. I'll say on that there, and there's going to be a pretty even spread out of there. I do feel like this is going to be a bit more aggressive there.
Yeah.
Vikings out of red are going to really need to go hunting for the pack points.
They will, but they are also arguably the better pack point hunters. Again, maybe the home field advantage, but you just look at some of their players like Twinkles and Run, and they just pack points so well. I'm actually intrigued to see what Spartans do out of this.
Yes.
Because Spartans taking the green base, maybe arguably the stronger of the 3 bases from a pack point perspective. Will they play a defensive game, which it looks like they're doing at the moment? And if they do, how are they going to pick up those points? Or are they relying just simply on the base location to do that?
Yeah. It's Peregrine sitting on the that under spot there on the T. The map there, you can kind of see that we had before. There's like a little wall that is poking off the back of that flat wall. And those little wings that are kind of coming off towards us there have been added recently on there. It used to just be a flat T on there. Maybe we can just... Whoop.
Oh,
Not now.
Not now. Blue punched through red right there. And that's a really good base for Catalyst. I think that's super important. What we might be seeing here is actually blue and red effectively starving green out of points.
Yeah.
Which would be super unfortunate for Spartans if they don't start to take advantage of this and try and push out or potentially have to push bases.
Yeah, because they'll know that the Spartans really like to play a pretty defensive game and a very controlling game out of green there. So if both Vikings and Catalyst decide, no, you know what? I'm not going to let them play this very, very strong, like the very strong position that they have when they're on their screen. Not going to let them have the game that they actually want there. It might go, better towards their play. Gypsy's saying it's exactly what happened to green in the last game.
Yep. That's
Runton.
This.
How?
I say the kid, and the kid is he is very very good. That's
Ooh.
blue punching straight back and picking it up. Oh, on the line there. You have green that's just poked into red, maybe to try and get some denial points, sort of disrupt that. But again, we're seeing blue and red just playing their own game, and green, unfortunately, I think is just being starved out. And this is going to get the longer this goes on, the more worrying it is. We're coming up to the end of the 5-minute mark, and while green's going okay, their packets are.
Whoop. Peregrine tagged out there and whacks one shot tonight there. But Runt, where does he even come from? It seems like he's everywhere. I think maybe that's the Viking secret to that. They've actually got 4 runts in there.
Yeah.
They're just hiding in various spots there. Twinkle's picking up a blue base there as well.
That's really good, and it carries on that trend. I was just going to say, it's a 5 of a kind. It's just one up the sleeve for runts.
Yeah.
Five runts.
That's it.
Actually, quintuplets.
It's or teleportation.
Peregrine playing really, really well under there, but just the getting defended from his teammates as well.
We saw Peregrine with what was it, like an 800% tag ratio from that spot there in one of the earlier games as well.
However, that does rely on people trying to take the base, and if no one does, that tag ratio is going to be significantly lower. Yeah. And while it's only set, it's a good tag ratio at the moment, 200%. He's only tagged 8 players.
Yeah.
look at that compared to, say, something like Twinkles with 13, even Leper.
Yep. So,
Sorry, Wax is taking green really nice and clean there.
and I mean, we've got Link.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
oh,
Oh, please,
someone clip that. Because,
Yeah, the Vikings are going to want to see that there. I think it was Karen there that was just standing right in the middle, right in that spot there that a lot of people are calling a sandwich because it's between those two pieces of bread right in the middle there.
and that's
Let's just walk in.
that sandwich was very unaware.
Yes.
Very, very unaware. They've struck right back though, taking green base. And you can just see the bodies are out in the field now for red. Switching from that blue, which they've got a couple of, and starting to take green. If the game's going to end at green, you almost want to get that base before anybody else. And this is where those tactics come in. If you can try and read what your opponents are doing, if you hear blue taking green, you go, stop. We want green. We want to make sure they have to get it last so we can go get their base. And CV looking very comfortable there. Clearly some calls on the outside. I think we saw a couple of red players on the outside, and there they go. They're both back home. They're both heading back home.
Oh, as we see the greens now on the inside of blue.
Yeah,
that was exactly the thing we were talking about between the games there. The leg was in that shooter spot there, and that person just came out from that back door there. Don't have really good visibility for when you're in that shooter spot there, and that green just the
red player
red tagged the green player in blue.
Yeah,
again.
I'm not sure if they've quite dumped. I don't reckon the Spartans have quite dumped, but what I do think is happening is we're seeing Runt sitting on blue base. That was
Link.
Runt and Twinkles sitting on blue base, perhaps.
Leopards on green. Oh,
no, he got it.
Only
He-
just getting that one there.
Good faith in that tag though.
Leg.
One shot
Leg
denied by
seemingly just
Lubo.
not able to get his phaser low enough to be able to get the shots register into that base there. And Leg, one of the taller players on the Spartans there, really having to reach down quite a bit from his normal stance.
It's really hard, especially if you're in that that shooter's spot, which you see that green player in blue base at the moment. If you're a bigger player, you have if you're a bigger player, you have a tendency to stick your laser out a little bit further. You just your arms and your legs are too long.
Yep. And that was that shot there, that the leg getting denied there from that shooter spot there was the exact someone going short on that position.
There's a lot of reds in red right now. Blue, realizing maybe that green is now empty, looks like they're going for it. If we just jump into potentially all the cams, you got blue and blue, you've got blue and green, and you have a lot of greens and
everyone
reds.
in red.
Yeah. It's smart by blue here, and I feel like green may have made I'm not going to say an error here, but their dump or their
attack,
their move into red and blue has just stalled.
Yep. We did say Husky picking up that green base there quite comfortably when we were in that all cams view there, but the action is all at red at the moment there, which is just playing into the Hobart Vikings play.
Comments in the chat. Okay, Karen, you wait here. We're gonna go play laser tag.
Lobo picking up that empty green.
I reckon we'll see blue now quick cycle green. But that then leaves them trying to push at least 3 people through red if they don't think they've got as many points as Vikings. Something we don't talk about is positions. We talked a little bit about it earlier with game callers and things like that. You'll often have a player who is known as last line or is a defender by heart. Blue taking green again, almost on that 30-second rotation there.
As the leg is on blue again.
That's green taking blue as well.
Oh, 2-shot denied there. Runt coming in
Runt
from that
again.
front
Runt is frankly doing a better job of defending blue than blue is at the moment.
Yeah. Mad cans on.
Well done. That was really well defended by blue there.
Greens.
Blue base really well defended by green as they have the player sitting in that corner.
Yeah, Captain Morgan calling that last line player, that final fullback defender, the anchor.
Yep.
That's a word that we use for it as well.
Yeah.
You know, take the anchor. I'm just going to be the one person that sits on the inside of the base, as we've seen Karen do there for the Vikings in this as well.
And anchor sometimes can be termed, can be a sort of have a negative connotation when we see it from a sporting perspective. But they're not. They're often the lowest scoring player on the team, but they're often really, really necessary. And it actually takes a huge amount of mental fortitude to do that, to listen to the game, trust your teammates out there, and still stay there and not get antsy, not get upset with your team if it goes wrong, because you don't have any control.
I see it more as it's the kind of anchor that's kind of like tying everything in place.
Yeah.
As well, like it's the real foundation of your team, and a lot of teams are playing it. One of the standard strategies we'll see is 2 attackers and 3 defenders.
Yeah.
You'll see one person, typically that anchor, that stays inside the base, and then you've got 2 other defenders, one sitting out on the outside of each of the doors.
Yeah.
While the other 2 players are together attacking.
In a maze such as this, which is so pack heavy, you will often see those 2 defenders pushing out a little bit. I'm just going to flick to this outside cameras to see if we can find these players.
Nope. Nope.
They have...
Can't see them all.
They're all camera shy. There's quite a few players on the outside of red now, both blue and red. Green is sitting on the outside of blue, and I think jumping into it. Let me just quickly... Yep. Oh,
the leg 2 shot denied at blue again. That's 6
Runt, I
shots
think,
in.
has... Oh,
I think Runt got all 6.
I think he did.
He did, yeah.
I think
Runt's got 6 denial shots there. And I think they were all
Pendragon in the
leg.
chat has mentioned is Runt just pulling the leg.
I mean, that's an interesting game plan on this one, because of course, like again, we haven't mentioned it. The way that a grand final will work is that we play it as 3/3 of the same game.
Yep.
So we're just going to add up all their scores from all 3 of the games, no drop games.
Yep.
And yeah, we'll average the scores as well and announce it in that way. But essentially, it doesn't really matter where you are placing in each of the 3 games. You will need to get just the highest total score.
Yeah.
And that possible play there from Runt and the Hobart Vikings is just sit on the Spartans, make sure that they get a really, really bad score in the strongest base there of green.
This is really interesting because Catalyst, and we didn't talk as much about it because it felt like Catalyst wasn't defending their base particularly well. It was red defending it. But Catalyst's score there was very good and only a fraction behind Hobart Vikings. And if they realize that, they're going to feel pretty good about that.
Yeah.
Now, they had a significantly lower scoring game in the first game. But if they feel like they've done pretty well here, they might find themselves going, okay, how close were we here? Did we...
Are we in this? Are we in with a shot?
Yeah. And if they're not, and this becomes really important, if you walk into your 3rd game thinking, okay, we can't beat this other team, or we might be even with one team but not the other, they will try to play potentially Spartans into a 3rd, very specifically acknowledging that they are not going to beat Vikings, but might just beat on Spartans to try and
secure 2nd.
Yeah, secure 2nd. Basically trying to reduce Spartans' score as low as possible.
Yeah, maybe we've got a bit of time. Let's go back to this map there, just so that we can have a quick little look at these bases there. So we were talking about this green base there. So you can see that there is that T structure there. That being the T there. These little wings were added on kind of recently. You're seeing most of those players there shooting it from there. But there are also some really neat little pockets in these things there. But the real interesting thing that very, very rarely you see players shooting there is this big box at the backside there. It's completely blocked from our camera view.
Yeah. I was going to say, I actually took, in the one game I played today, I actually took green from there.
Yes.
It does happen.
It does. And I think because how open these doors are, I think this is the front door and this is the back door.
Yeah, I think generally, though every team will choose to name their doors something slightly different.
And that's a huge other part of this thing as well.
Which we haven't talked about yet.
Yeah, so often you'll see, like, because we're seeing the vast majority of takes being taken from that one there, if you can get in there without being necessarily spotted by people at the front and back door there, you're going to have people that are going to be streaming in here, popping one shot there, getting to about here and taking that shot there, and then being like, oh, it's empty. There's no one here. And that gives this person here exactly enough time to get their third shot in there.
Yeah.
So the art of just hiding in there.
We have got a lot of going in the chat as people start to theory craft out the how teams need to play this next one. Box is very good to take in dumps as no one expects it, and it dives into the tee. Yep, absolutely.
Oh, I'm not able to. No, I can erase it.
We can do it. There we go. Good. New technology, and we'll just get there. We haven't spoken a little bit much about it. I mean, we'll just do a quick, just to give all the bases. What with this?
What? Oh, yeah.
Sorry. Production just kicking the desk out from underneath us. This is what we call the sandwich. You will hear us refer to this as a sandwich if someone is sort of sitting in here, though a lot of teams will call it center, I think, as well. Most players will take it from somewhere within that.
Quick time in.
We need time?
Yep. Sorry, guys. We're going to be nice and quiet here.
Actually, aren't muted. We're just not allowed to talk. Shh. That'd be really nice.
It'd be funny if it was just trigger flicking.
Oh, that would be terrifying. I think the Dex would have that in nightmares.
I'd say that as someone who text packs a lot.
Be good. Was that actually wax? It might actually be wax. We're not sure.
It's nightmare. It's just trigger flicking into the void.
That's it. Blue tonight. Blue team tonight.
You're good now.
All right.
Okay, we're good.
We're good. We're back. That was a little weird.
They got a bit weird. Thank you very much, chat. I would much appreciate it. I love this new tech here. Player trigger flicking as ASMR is not good as a site op. I have to fix triggers. Please don't do it.
There's a reason why it's a penalty.
What we were talking about before and what we started drawing is the labeling of doors is really important in this. You've got like front here, front here. You have back, and you often will have multiple shooter spots. depending on where you need to defend yourself from. Because if you think there might be people on B coming in sort of this way, you might take this spot here because you can kind of defend yourself a little bit. But if you think people might be coming in from the or the back door, or in this case the front door, you might actually post yourself here. So people have to go all the way around to try and get you. Much the same as this spot here.
Yeah, so that spot at the very back there, you can see it makes like a V on there, and that's what people are calling, a V. That spot there, you're often seeing a lot of your last line players getting it on there. You can defend yourself from one of the two doors pretty easily, even just by standing there. Like you've got a panel up against there, but you can get an angle on there that you might be able to like protect your senses there, so you're not able to get tagged. But it's entirely possible someone will be able to, tag you out from, one of these bit higher spots.
Out here a little bit, depending on where they are. And actually, on the note of sensors, this game's just about to start, so we're not going to flick back across to the actual games themselves, and we'll discuss this as we go. One of the things that has changed this year, and we talk about home field advantage or the system advantage, is actually that the packs have changed fractionally. And most notably is the phaser or the gun has changed. And it's become a lot more sensitive, including having a sensor which you can tag down the barrel of the actual laser. This changes the way a lot of people who have been playing this game for many, many years can play traditionally. Because you used to be able to basically have that end of the laser around
pointing
the corner.
Out, waiting there, just waiting for people to come out in position as we see wax on green.
That was so fast. Unfortunate miss in the case of Twinkles there getting in there, but they moved with speed. But again, very controlled, and this is why we talk about we do move fast in this competition, but it's about controlled movement rather than uncontrolled movement. Just while it slows down a moment, we can hear the shouting from inside the maze. This game is going to seem very fast. It's going to get very, very intense. But that barrel sensor means you can't do that anymore, which means you have to actually hide your laser a lot more. There's other sensors in the laser as well. And you'll notice when people are hiding behind panels, they'll swipe their laser out really quickly, so they expose it for as little time as possible.
Yep. Especially this player on the underside of green there. You can see that they're sticking their head out around the corner there, but they're making sure that all of their sensors, all of their lights, including their phaser, is behind the line of that wall. That wall there. And then if now would be a great time for someone to come in. This player on the green is doing really good. Commentator curse, come on, please, come on.
There we go.
Yeah.
And you see the short little move as the laser pokes out and then goes straight back in, and pokes out and then goes straight back in. So it's a really convenient camera to demonstrate this on.
Yeah. And we were talking about the system advantage between these things there. All
got red going for blue, just really
wax one shot to nine.
And getting smothered by blue players there.
So there has been the Hobart Vikings have been playing on this new generation of equipment for the last 6 months or so. They've been getting a huge amount of experience in on this, whereas none of the other teams in this grand final have that much experience with this system. Like they've played it at the pre-nats, they've got the training, but they are used to the previous version that we've played previous nationals on, Helios Pro, which has a very different, doesn't have that phaser sensor. So
green and red and blue at the moment. One shot denied, Grub. One shot denied, trying to get blue there. However, green does pick up their first base, and it's on runt.
And I think like even just that small little sensor on the end of the barrel there has really changed how a lot of especially these defenders are needing to play there. Like they're going to have to change how their whole holds and everything is working there just to be able to, as we see.
So a lot of players.
Mad cans on.
There were so many people in there.
Oh, wow. Just coming out of absolutely, like out of the woodwork there just to try and deny Mad cans on that. But that puts the Spartans out to a pretty reasonable lead there. Now, 800 pack points ahead of the Hobart Vikings there with the same number of bases.
Yeah, which is a little bit unusual when we talk so much about the fact that the green base, again, has been seen in as the higher pack point, but maybe these teams have kind of, I'm not saying broken that sort of meta, but actually understand that because so many people avoid those lines of sight from green, it actually throws it far enough the other way.
Yep.
Something to be said, like those players, when we were part of the control, when we move around as fast as we do, the players in that green base were really, they all behaved really well. They all got out of the way. You once you are in the base, you have to kind of just make sure you're not in the way of players coming in, or you risk getting a fairly hefty penalty.
Fortunately, we haven't seen any penalties being applied in this game so far. Someone is asking, Ash is asking, have there been any after game terms? We don't know. We also won't know the exact final scores until after the end of this last game. That information is not being released to us here at the stream.
Just quickly, just so you guys are aware, when they come out, we're going to give them a little bit of time just to decompress.
Yep.
And we're going to do presentation.
Cool.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll have a little bit of time after this game. Maybe we can talk a little bit more about the maze and the competition as a whole, and answer any questions in the chat as well. Dodge.
I think that was probably incredibly lucky, that green player poking around the corner there.
Reds in all three bases.
Is this like we have a concept, what we refer to it quite a lot as dumping, where you move all your players out of your own base. Oh, one shot denied.
One shot denied there.
By Twinkles in this case. It's not run this time.
Wax shooting a base he has. Yeah. Wax is in there on the green there, starting to pop some shots up there.
And a bit of frustration there out of that blue player not being able to hit Twinkles. And blue player then kind of inadvertently just blocking their own player as they tried to come in. You got to be careful, because you can actually be termed or penalized for blocking your own players, even though you're disadvantaging your own team. It can be done.
Yeah, we do have quite a number of referees in there. Unfortunately, you can't see any of them at the moment there. But they're all wearing high-vis vests, and they've got penalization boxes there that they can just walk up to a player and press a button and give them a penalty. As we see CV picking up a clean blue base, and Peregrine getting two shots denied there. Runt again.
Runt, I think he's just beyond that base.
Sitting just on the outside.
Yeah, just on the outside. So potentially, if we just look at this, somewhere around here, so you can just have those quick run-ins straight through into there.
He's just absolutely everywhere, though. Like, again, it's the teleportation. Like, he's just able to just, like, blink, bamf around the arena.
We talk about home maze advantage, and while we talk about the packs and the home maze being like, where you can also move faster in your own maze. If you play it day in, day out.
You get familiar. You kind of expect where people are going to be, where people are not going to be. As you see, Wax picking up a blue and Peregrine picking up a green base there as well.
That was really good. That was Peregrine, trusting that last tag, and actually managed to pull off. He was defended from the outside in the end.
Look at the first and second place players at the moment there. Wax currently at 8,872, indicating he's got two bases. Run 8,341. He's 600 points behind, 40 tags already, but has only got one base.
And this hasn't been tagged quite as much as Wax has. Wax also has a couple of one deny, and that's where that points difference is. But it really does show just how much you can pack hit. We got green going in
Twinkles.
Blue. I think that was well timed. I think there was a lot of dead players, a lot of down players, and they've all backed off. They know there's no point being in that base, and that's something we see the higher teams go. The base goes down, they're gone. There's no point defending that base. There's no point standing around the outside of it, and they're going to go and find points elsewhere. CV happily sitting underneath the green base. He's got one base himself clean. He's probably in no immediate rush to go off to red. And we're seeing Spartans here just potentially just struggling. I say that when he's getting, he did get it. He did get red base, but Spartans are just struggling with those pack hits a little bit. Which is going to be is fundamental for them. And if they can't start to pull away from Catalyst, I suspect what we're seeing here is maybe what we see our final placings being.
Yep.
Husky has a bad pack score, 10% score ratio.
9, 14, 790 points. I mean, it's not unheard of for you, that kind of last line player there who's been sitting in the back.
Red getting blue. Well defended. Really well defended there.
Ram Fox going and getting that blue as well.
And yeah, those last line defenders do tend to have a relatively low. They are going to get tagged out. Depending on the base itself, they might have quite a high tag ratio because it's a very safe base. But if it's one that they're going to get tagged out of quite a bit, then they absolutely will have a lower score than the average player in the game.
Yep. I forget what I was gonna say. Dang.
Sorry about that.
No, that's all good. It's all good. Husky picking up that blue base there as well. Real important base.
Yeah.
As well.
Ghibli suggesting in the comments that Catalyst, as commenting the Catalyst, they've been a team since 2016 and they have made grand finals every single year since their inception.
Yep.
Which is an incredible thing.
The leg picking up a red base there. Last time Queensland didn't win was the year before Helios Pro started. I think the first of those eras was 2015 in Bendigo.
Yep.
So 2014 Mount Wellington, the last time New Zealand had a ZLTAC, and that first tournament that we actually called the ZLTAC.
Yep.
When the Silverbacks ended up taking out the first place.
I missed that one. I was there for 2015. Red. Again, so many times going for that shot, trying to defend yourself, and you end up getting tagged in the laser in part because of this new system.
Yep. This laser is just an absolute tag magnet as well. Like, it just seems, because it's out in your hands there, like it is often far out from your body there, and you're just kind of not used to it being quite as sensitive.
Yep. Yeah. It's Hobart came
second that year. Yes.
H2 isn't as much as a nerf as people were expecting. I'll argue that it probably is, but it's
a bit of an equalizer.
It's an equalizer for teams that haven't been playing on it.
Yeah.
And all things being equal, Queensland still has a massive crop of good players, good teams, and a massive scene to back them.
Yeah.
Green getting a very clean blue base.
Runt doing the between the legs shot, shooting up there. Yeah, it's a very good one. It's very classic. And, like, just familiarization with the equipment as well is so important there. Just being comfortable with being able to make these shots. Laser tag. We play in a whole bunch of different arenas all around the world. And, different arenas work out very differently. All right, we'll just quickly go over the scores. The players will be coming out into the foyer very shortly, so we'll not be able to talk about scores. Vikings, 45k 6 bases. Catalyst, 40k 7 bases. And Spartans, 35k 6 bases.
I believe this is the closest of the three. And at that, we might be nice and quiet.
We'll show you a bit of the foyer cam here as well. Like, we're not going to be able to talk about the game itself, but maybe we can have a bit of a chat about other things. If you guys in the chat have any questions or anything, we may be able to announce, or we may be able to talk about
them
things.
through. Especially if they're not specific. Look at that, good sportsmanship. I mean, a lot of these players, the vast majority of us are good acquaintances, if not friends. So
very much so. Yeah, hearing a lot of celebrations out in the foyer now, getting a bit loud. Everyone's saying, congratulations, well done, great competition, great. This is day 10 of competition here as well.
I won't mention that, but
yeah,
some compliments in the chat for things.
Just incredible achievements this year by some of the players.
Yeah,
and everyone who participated in this tournament. What was it? 177 players? 172?
About that, yeah. And we did have to activate a couple of players through it.
couple of injuries, fair few people injured earlier in the tournament there. And again, we are playing this laser tag at such a high level there. Everyone is playing their absolute hearts out. We've got some really, really long days.
Yep.
Some really, starting 8 o'clock in the morning and going until 11 p.m. for some people. And
I didn't even open my drink that game. I got very excited.
we're just hearing an announcement in the foyer there for players that aren't there. I thought they probably should have come talk to us. Captains have been sent details about the presentation dinner tonight, as well about table arrangements as well. So captains, pass those on to your teams for this evening. Unfortunately, a lot of these questions in the chat, not really something I can actually talk about out loud.
We've got
but
this one here from Shuin TV. Is Aubrey H2 next year?
I think they're trying to, but I don't think that they've got it confirmed yet.
Yeah. I believe, and I can't speak for them, obviously, it's not my site. I believe the plan was a October or November upgrade, but we will find out. I'd be very excited because it's a site that's only 3 hours away from mine.
Namero is saying, yes, Aubrey will be. Look, that Husky there, just trying to get his face on the camera just one more time.
Would you mind swapping it over the audio sources when we swap over?
Yep.
So muting, and then just transition to that.
Yep.
I'll let you know when.
We can do that. Thank you very much. We are just seeing the foyer just start to get prepared there. Final players coming out there, just hanging out, having a drink, and we will be preparing for our presentations shortly. We are just going to get a camera and stream set up there before we'll have our tournament coordinator announcing the results. We are going to be going live over to them once it is sorted, which looks to be about now.
It's about now. So we're going to switch over, guys.
Back with you soon.
In a new tradition, I don't actually know. I've got to wait to open the photo.
Bear with us, guys. While
Maybe we got a little bit. A little bit? Still got a little bit. All right.
I'll let you know. I'll give you a signal.
we're going to get given a thumbs up when it happens.
That's
All right. Any other questions which we can ask for while I answer?
I definitely want to read out that one that Ibo has
Yes.
just said in the chat. That's a fantastic,
It's a
fantastic statistic. But yeah, obviously we're not going to be able to not going to be able to talk about that until the results are announced, which they will find out very soon.
Someone asked when's Canberra getting H2?
When's Canberra getting a Nats? ZLTAC.
So, well, let's not get too excitable about this, but Canberra will probably look at putting our hand up in 2026 or 2027.
Yep.
There's a little bit of runway to go through.
Sounds like it's a long time away, but 2026 is the next Nats that we will be able to that Canberra would be able to nominate for.
All right, guys, we're switching now.
Switching now.
Good to go.
Vikings win by the second game, 15.
Alrighty, we're good to go. All right, simmer. Last time you got to hear my voice for another 12 months. So I will do the traditional game by game.
This is golf, right?
All right. Game 1. At red, Spartans with 25,033 points. From green, Catalyst with 22,802 points. And from blue, Vikings with 35,030 points. 34 points. Game 2, from red, Hobart Vikings with 44,177. Spartans from green with 18,232. And Catalyst from blue with 42,557.
Well, I also got 13K on the last game.
Game 3. From red, Catalyst with 40,417. From green, Hobart Vikings with 45,416. And Spartans from blue with 35,446. Amazingly, you can all do math. So in third place with an average of 26,204 points, the Spartans. In second place with an average of 35,325, Catalyst. And in first place with an average of 41,542, ending Queensland reign of trophies, Hobart Vikings! Massive thanks to these guys for sticking around, for repping, making my life easy. You guys are awesome. Thank you to the staff. Table plans and everything are in the captain's chat. They will tell you where you're sitting. You guys are at the front 3 tables, so please make sure you take over them. Poor Catalyst are stuck with me. Shame's for shame. And you can all have a fantastic evening. Thank you to all the viewers at home. We love you, but we're off to celebrate our week.
We're back.
We are back. Wow. There you have it. Hobart Vikings are our national or zone ZLTAC Australasian champions in the teams event for 2023.
And that was really exciting, and like
Yeah.
it was closer than between, especially from the second and third. It was really close to see that. That last game summary dominated by Runt again.
Look at that. Yeah.
We had a couple of things in the chat though that we want to highlight. There was a comment made which referenced one of the players, Leper specifically, on Vikings. He last won a Nationals or Australasian Championships, or the equivalent, which was back in 20 years ago.
2003.
Yeah, I believe was the line.
Yeah.
So we talk about some players just sticking around forever.
Yeah.
He has both of us beat.
Yeah. Congratulations there. Yes, Vikings do win that there. Congratulations. We've just had one of the Vikings come in here from our tech team. Might have been 04.
Might have been 04.
I mean,
Actually, I
that's
think it
still
was
20
actually.
years. Yeah. But absolutely incredible there for Leper. Someone else also saying that CV has taken out a Grand Slam in a single year.
Yeah, with every single
teams.
maze-based.
Yeah. There's won solos, doubles, triples, and now taking home the teams championship.
So huge congratulations to CV.
Congratulations
a
to CV.
massive year for him.
And also Runt as well. Like, just absolutely huge, coming out first place in almost every single individual game there.
Yep.
Getting first place in doubles and triples with CV.
And
second in solos as well. And getting a trophy in Lord of the Rings as well. I think it was third in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, so also cleaned up.
Literally trophy in every event. 3 of them first places.
Yes, Dossie, Catalyst, second, Spartans third.
Yeah.
And I was only born 21. Someone saying we've been players playing for 20 years. There, some players are 21. There are a lot of players that are quite good players that are only 18, 19 at this point.
Look, our juniors competition there, like all of them are in our 18 and under age category there. I really love that we're able to celebrate the massive diversity that we have in our community here. You know, massive range of ages, genders, anyone can play, body sizes, body shapes in this. You know, makes up such a great part of our community there as well, is that it's a game that anyone can play.
Yeah, and it's grown over the years. Like our juniors, women's, and our masters, which is our over 35s, has grown year on year.
Yep. Well,
We're on time.
That's all good.
Thank you. Bubbles there in the foyer is giving the big old wave goodbye. We are going to need to say goodbye as well.
Thank you, everybody who's watched. Thank you for all the players, all the volunteers, all the commentators, all of the people involved in this. We'll be back a year from now, or just under.
2024 in Albury.
Aubrey.
Looking forward to that there. But for the last time, final sign up here from the Zone Laser Tag Australasian Championships 2023 from Hobart in Tasmania. My name is Drake.
My name is Nickel.
And thank you very much, everyone who has joined us from wherever you are, all around the world. Everyone has played, everyone has volunteered. Thank you so much.
See you next year, guys.